I'm Candace Bach, Government Relations Director for the Association of Washington Cities. I cover issues of budget and finance, open government, personnel and labor relations, and this session I've also been doing public safety.
Carl Schrader, Deputy Government Relations Director. This year it's been almost entirely housing and land use, but I also cover environmental issues, homelessness, and a variety of other things.
Hi, I'm Brandy DeLang. I'm Government Relations Advocate here at AWC, and I cover transportation, infrastructure, broadband, and energy-related issues.
We still have a lot of AWC priority bills in play right now. I've been particularly focused on the police pursuits legislation, Senate Bill 5352. We're hoping the Senate will concur on the House version of the bill, the House changes to the bill. Working still on the Blake fix bill, Senate Bill 5536. The House made a lot of changes. The Senate had a different version. We generally prefer the Senate version and trying to work out the compromise on that. And then still working on bills around some tax and finance issues. A surprise bill that came out recently was Senate Bill 5770, which would revise the 1% property tax cap up to 3% with a tie to inflation and population growth. So we're really hoping that that is some surprise thing that will happen at the very end of session.
A lot of the biggest ones have sort of been concluded or are very close. So the middle housing bill, for instance, has passed both the House and the Senate. We're expecting the House will concur on that in the coming days. We did a lot of work to get to a point where we were ultimately supportive of that bill as it got very close to what we had put out earlier in the session as something the cities could agree to and work towards. The transit-oriented development bill, which was very extensive and concerning to some cities, did not advance. There's a chance that it will be revived, but hopefully that will be a conversation for the interim and to really refine that to make it a better product. And then the thing that I'm most actively working on at this point, post-cutoff, is House Bill 1628, which is authority for cities to levy a new real estate excise tax for affordable housing projects, to build affordable housing, as well as an increase in the state's REIT to help with those purposes, as well as directing investments in housing for people with developmental disabilities and those who need permanent supportive services. So we're really hopeful that we can get that across the finish line. That would really complement the state's work this year to try to address the housing crisis.
Yeah, so we've got a couple of bills on concurrence actually right now. First one being 1621, which is a procurement bill that'll actually raise some of our procurement levels, which we're really excited about. And then House Bill 1050, which is an apprenticeship utilization bill that we've done some pretty extensive work on. We're expecting that the Senate and the House will hopefully go to concurrence, and then we'll be done with those bills. And then lastly, we're focused on the budget, the transportation budget, the operating budget, and the capital budget are all still kind of in play. We've got a number of things that we're tracking, including broadband and a bunch of JTC studies as well.
The budget is generally pretty positive for cities this year. We're really pleased to see the investments in law enforcement training, the basic law enforcement academy, and some regional academy options. Also the investments that are needed to implement the Blake fix bill. Those are all really great things to see in the budget.
Yeah, there's one particularly important budget item that is still hanging out there in the homelessness space, where the state funds and provides resources to the counties, our homeless support system, through a fee called the document recording fee that's on real estate transactions. Because of some changes in the interest rates, we saw some disruption in the real estate market, and those resources came in lower than expected. And we really need the state to backfill those resources, or else we're going to see direct cuts in homelessness services right when we're still in the peak of a crisis around homelessness and people living outside. So we really need the state to make sure that that doesn't happen, and that would be an important thing for you to talk to your legislators about and highlight for them if you have homelessness challenges in your community.
So the JTC has been tasked with doing two studies, one of which we've requested, which is a retail delivery fee study. We're asking that they look at how much money can be generated from retail deliveries through FedEx, UPS, Uber Eats, all the things that you think of that you're getting at your home on a regular basis. And we're thinking that hopefully this generates enough revenue, if a fee is added on, that we can start to use it to address some of the transportation funding needs that we have at the state and local level. And then the second study is a study that we're working to try to transfer to MRSC actually, that looks at a partnership between state and local agencies on delivering important transportation projects and what that really looks like from a procurement, liability, and design standard.
You know, we only have a few days left in session, but we still really need city leaders to be engaged, particularly talking about the importance of passing the police pursuits bill and the Blake Fix bill. And then on this property tax cap revision, they really need to hear from home about that and how that will impact your community. So stay engaged all the way to the end.
Yeah, that real estate excise tax bill I mentioned, House Bill 1628, that will not pass unless there is significant advocacy from cities encouraging their House members and senators to vote for that, advance it. With only a couple of days left in session, they need to come through with the resources to address the low-income housing needs that we know we have. We have 500,000 units projected to be needed in the next 20 years that the market just cannot deliver because of the inability to pay enough rent to cover the cost. So that's where public investment is needed, and tax votes are difficult for the legislature, so they really need to see that there's support at home for that.
I think it's just staying engaged and being aware of what's happening at this point in time. Right now, I think our issue area is in a fairly good spot, but certainly things can go sideways in any moment. So being aware and reading the legislative bulletin is really kind of my key recommendation for folks.
My favorite legislative food day, I don't really have one because I don't usually stand in line for the food, but I do love the smell of beef day.
Oh, there are so many. Everybody says beef day, that's a classic. They have food truck day, which hasn't happened this year and everybody's disappointed in. And then there was a new thing this year, seafood day, which I skipped because banquet seafood seemed weird, but got very good reviews. I also thought that we should film this in front of our 4-day-old Chipotle to really show you the glamour of the lobbyist lifestyle, but we're going to do it in the Capitol instead.
People get really jazzed up about beef day, but I really enjoyed potato day. I'm a vegetarian, so I am automatically counted out on beef days, so I'm going with potato day.